Hey Sages, welcome to June 2018. Hope you guys are doing well. How was the full moon? That full moon was on May 29th and it was in Sagittarius, so it was definitely affecting you guys. And what I mean by affecting you, Sages, is it was bringing up a lot of beliefs that were so ingrained in us that we didn't even realize they weren't ours. So that full moon in Sagittarius would have brought up even just a thought, even just a memory where you're like, oh, that's why I feel that way about this or that or whatever. Could have even came in the form of a dream where you're like, oh my gosh. A lot of the times we start to realize that a lot of the beliefs that we have, they aren't even ours. It's not based on our experience. It's based on somebody saying, this is what happened to them, and us just saying, okay, that's our truth now. Thank you. For instance, like, this is like probably the worst example, but when I first quit smoking years ago, so many people were like, not so many people, but a couple people were like, you don't need to quit. You know, my uncle, he smoked for however many years and he lived to be yada yada yada. So things like that, beliefs where we'll latch onto them and say that is more comforting than the truth that I want to find on my own. That's what that full moon in Sagittarius was doing, and that's really kind of an example of who you guys are in a nutshell, where it's like you know your beliefs based on your knowledge, based on your experience, and a lot of the times people have beliefs based on a Sagittarius, their experience. For me, it's so true. I have so many Sag friends where I'm like, wow, they're so out there and they actually go out and live their lives where here I am, such a homebody, and I'll just take their beliefs and say, okay, yeah, you're right. That was your experience, and now that's my experience. So I hope you guys enjoyed your full moon. I hope you guys were able to release some beliefs that were no longer serving you, which is not necessarily the easiest thing, especially when they're, deep rooted in ancestry and family legacy or in religion, things like that. So I hope it went well for you guys. That being said, June 13th is a Gemini new moon, so it was interesting. We were able to release those beliefs on May 29th, and now June 13th, Gemini energy is all about bringing in new ideas and going and interacting with people in movement in order to exchange energy and to bring in new information. So June 13th, that Gemini new moon is going to be really excellent to start forming some new belief systems and some new patterns that you guys dropped with the Sagittarius full moon. Oops. And then June 28th is the Capricorn full moon. So that's going to bring up some issues surrounding your profession, your ambitions, your career, not your job, your career, like your big goals, your big goals. So June 28th, Capricorn full moon, release any fears that are no longer serving you when it comes to your career, when it comes to your ambitions, and when it comes also to your authority, like what you believe is authority, something that you can live up to and listen to and gives you that sense of stability. So that'll be a really intense full moon for sure. Okay. Sagittarius, June 2018. So obviously this won't be a very long video because I don't know how much longer this baby's going to sleep. I'm on a hope and a prayer right now. And it's also the reason why these videos are so late, so I do apologize. Okay. Oops. Let's take those. Okay, so the cards that almost fell out and I had to catch them, which is symbolic in its own, is a lot of wand energy. A lot of wand energy. So we have the Nine of Wands, which is all about focusing on, having all these opportunities, but really only focusing on one and kind of really biting your tongue when it comes to it, knowing that you have so many opportunities, but saying, no, I'm going to focus on this one. I got to focus on this one. I have to hold on to this one. I can't let go of it. But you still do recognize that you're putting in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to hold on to this one and to not just deviate and go and pick up something else, because you have a lot of opportunities. We also have the Eight of Wands, which is a lot of opportunities, too many opportunities, and they're all incredibly empowering. They're all opportunities that will give you a sense of empowerment, a sense of wonder, a sense of adventure, a sense of new beginnings, but of course it would require that you move on from something, that you move on from harder times. And you have to move on first and foremost with your mind. Waiting for that message to come in from the Knight of Cups in order to make that movement. Knight of Cups is somebody younger than you, somebody who is a little bit more emotional than you as well. They're really focused on the past. It feels like a Cancer energy, somebody who doesn't really let go of the past. And you probably know them from the past as well. This person definitely wants to move forward with you. You want to move forward as well, but you're just waiting for everything to kind of settle down and for you to get the confidence, for you to get the information and get what you need in order to do that. So although you do recognize that you have a lot of opportunities and you're still holding on to one, it is coming to a point now where you got to move on because that Knight of Cups is waiting to move forward with you, okay? Okay. So the theme here is also giving. Giving a lot when it comes to your home and family, emotionally. Whether, like, I'm seeing like an overpour, like a downpour, a downspout of emotions recently or coming up this month. So recently it would have happened in a small way, and now this month is really going to cultivate that because it's just the foundation is not there. So what I've learned is when it comes to your home represents yourself. So having a clean house, having especially a bathroom, like your bathroom represents your emotions. Like this one psychic I'm obsessed with, Sarah Yip, she's based out of Australia. She was saying that whenever she goes to a client's house, she'll always go use the washroom and she'll go to the kitchen as well because the kitchen is like the heart, that's the hub. So you want to see, are there dishes everywhere? Is it cluttered? Is it organized? Is it overly organized? And then she goes to the washroom, and that's your emotions. Because when you think about the washroom, that's where you're flushing away all those toxins. You're letting go of your emotional, baggage. So she'll go to the washroom. Is it clean? Is it crowded? Is it cluttered? Is it dirty? Is it overly clean? Somebody who's, really obsessed with their emotions. Things like that. This card, I'm seeing a roof. So your roof would be your stability. You have the foundation, which is the basement. Then you have that overhead stability that allows you, I'm also seeing like kind of like a glass ceiling. It's also kind of how far you can move in the world. So this roof is mangled. And because of it, I'm seeing that downpour in the spouts of emotions. I'm seeing all that water coming and dripping into the house. So that's what's going on right now when it comes to your family and friends. That glass ceiling, that roof, that support, that cap when it comes to your ambitions, there's leaks, okay? And it's leaking into the house. It's creating some incredible emotional shifts as well that need to be happening. And it's also creating a little bit of a stop right now. It's saying, okay, stop looking out so far, come back inside and fix your roof. So use that June 28th Capricorn full moon to fix your ambitions, to make sure that there's no holes in your goals, to make sure, hey, that rhymes, to make sure there's no holes in that stability, especially when it comes, because your roof is everything. So that's what I'm seeing. 6 of Cups. Start to focus on your investments, start to focus on the work that you put in there, because although you are thinking about moving on because there's so many opportunities, you still have to go back and reassess and reflect and say, okay, even though I'm moving on because I have other opportunities for energy exchange, what have I gained so far, and why is it going to be so much easier for me to move on? But you have to do that reflection period, and that's going to bring up some new emotions, some new feelings that may be a little bit negative, especially in consideration to this Queen of Swords person. You're going to have to really dig deep, find some strength, and recognize that the foundation has not been strong enough. And of course, we have your soulmate here. We have your soulmate here, as usual, since I've started reading, and it's been over a year since I started reading on YouTube. I swear Sagittarius always has their soulmate card popping up. So good for you guys. Your soulmate has been around. I think that maybe it hasn't even been acknowledged maybe, and that's because of some serious heartbreak, but it's only fair to give that power where it exists, and that's in recognition that your soulmate has been there. They've been there. So, like I said, moving on, creating new emotions, really stopping when it comes to the family and putting so much energy and effort into the family and starting to create your own family. That might sound really selfish, but as a Sagittarius, you guys are the arrow. You guys have to pull back in order to shoot forward. It is time now to start to do that trajectory forward. You guys have been pulled back for a little bit too long. Okay, so what this reading is about relationships, because this year is all about that master number 11 energy, which is all about relationships, which is all about love, spirituality, and digging deeper into every relationship that you have. You know, really looking at them and saying, why do I love this person? Why can't I stand this person? And then going inward and reflecting on your own insecurities when it comes to these relationships. The obstacle and the aid will be some alone time. So that alone time that you take there, Sagittarius, this month, that inward reflection is going to help you when it comes to understanding your relationships. And it's also going to hinder you when it comes to understanding your relationships. Because that alone time, you're going to get angry. You're like, where are my relationships? But within that, you're going to learn so much. It's going to bring so much knowledge. Subconsciously, you want something new. And because of it, guess what? It's coming, okay? But you are thinking that you don't know where it's going to lead, okay? So you want something new to come in. You want new energy, but you don't even know how to even bring that in. And you do it through pure faith and hope, you know, just saying, I want something new and expecting the universe to deliver it. And then when it does come in, be thankful for it. I think that's probably the most difficult thing I've found, especially, I have a lot of Sag energy in my chart. One thing I have noticed, because I have this Sagittarius fire energy, a lot of the times I'll manifest things, and then once I get it, I'm on to the next, and I haven't even acknowledged, like, oh my gosh, like, where I'm at right now is something that I prayed for 2 years ago. So why not acknowledge that instead of constantly going forward? It's just maybe human psychology. Who knows? You right now are definitely moving on from something, though. Emotionally, you're gone. Thoughts, you're gone. It's just a matter of time. Family and friends, they recognize that, they see that, and you really can create a lot with your family and friends as long as it's coming from a pure and positive place and it's not overgiving, especially overgiving emotionally, and no guilt and no resentment, and just saying, okay, I'm starting something new. This is what I want. I'm moving on. You can come with me and create with me, but no matter what, you're not holding me back. Hope and fear, Sag. Hope and fear is what you're putting out there, is what you're starting to create. So you want to put out a lot of energy, but you are afraid of it as well. Just because, like I said, you have no idea where it's leading. Oops. You okay? You okay? You okay? Last card, Sag. Moving on. So pretty much the overall consensus of this spread is you're moving on. You're moving on. It is just time to make that change because you're not there emotionally. You're not there with your thoughts. Like mentally, you're not there. It is just time to physically say, let me just do this. Let me just walk on, because you have a lot of support and you've been balancing yourself out for a long time, especially within relationships. But this alone time that you've been doing is really starting to turn yourself inward, and you're starting to really realize that you have no idea where this relationship is going. You want something new. You have so many opportunities. It is time to just move on. And if this is based on soulmate, then we got to have a chat, because soulmate is there. So it's either moving on and saying, moving on with soulmate and saying, let's just stop this. You know, soulmate constantly comes up in the theme, but never comes up in the actual reading. So they're there underneath the surface, but it's like you haven't pulled them into your actual aura, into your full aura, mainly because I think it's terrifying. You know, Sagittarius, they really don't like to be pinned down, and a soulmate, you know, that's gonna pin you down unless they also have a lot of Sag in them and you guys can travel a lot. But at the end of the day, it is going to make you recognize that you need to have more fun and get yourself back out there and just enjoy life a little bit more. Because with that enjoyment, you're going to be creating those shifts that you hope for, but that you also fear for. So Sag, hope you guys enjoyed this reading. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want a personalized reading, my email address is below. I include astrology and numerology with each reading. Looking forward to talking to you guys, and I hope you have an amazing June. I will see you in July. Bye, Sag.